Hello everyone, welcome back to the second video of consonants, RP consonants. So this is the part 2 of RP consonants. Now here we will talk about the description of each of the consonant sounds. First we have po and bo. Po and bo, these two are bilabial plosives. Bilabial plosives, as we talked in the earlier video. Bilabial because the ear is blocked by the lips, so it is named after the lips as bilabial. Both the lips, they block the ear when it is coming from the lungs spontaneously. It is blocked by both the lips, air is compressed, then sudden release is there. The sound is a kind of explosion or person. That's why they are po and bo. Po and bo, though the place of articulation is same in the lips, and the manner is also similar, but they sound differently. They pronounce differently because in the vocal cord the difference is made. During the pronunciation of po, vocal cord they held apart. The passages they held apart, and the sound is voiceless. But for bo, there is voicing because the cords, vocal cords, the glottis is narrowed down, and when the ear comes through the vocal cords, there is voicing sound. So po and bo. Otherwise, they are similar. Pace and manner is almost similar. Only there is voicing and non-voicing. That's the difference. Po and bo, bilabial plosives. Then we have alveolar plosives. Alveolar plosives, alveolar because first let us say alveolar plosives, to and do. These two are the alveolar plosives. Plosive because same, the ear is compressed in the mouth, then there is sudden release. Now where the ear is, where the contact by the organs are made, it is in the alveolar position. Alveolar means teeth ridge, back of the upper teeth ridge. So there, front of the tongue or tip of the tongue, they make a contact, and the ear is compressed, totally blocked, then sudden release, to and do. Similar, to is voiceless and do is voiced sound, as I told you earlier. Then we have velar plosives. Again, velar plosives, they are again plosives because the ear is compressed and then there is sudden release. Now where the ear is compressed, where the blockage is made, it is in the velar. You can see the position here. This is the velar, velum. The back of the tongue goes to the velum, and they come against each other and they block the passage, then there is sudden release. So when the air is released, the sound is kind of plosive sound. Ko is voiceless, vocal cord is held apart, and go is voiced. Then we have palato-alveolar affricates, chaw and jaw. These two are the palato-alveolar affricate. Palato-alveolar because you can see again here, tongue, entire tongue, front of the tongue, tip of the tongue, they make a contact against the hard palate starting from the teeth ridge. So totally they block, but they are affricate because the release is not sudden but slow release. Total block by the tongue and the palate, then there is slow release. Cha, ja, as in chain, jam, etc. Chaw is voiceless and jaw is voiced. Then we have labiodental-fricatives. Two sounds are labiodental-fricatives, fa and va. Fa and va. Labiodental, the place is labiodental because the lower lip comes in contact with the upper teeth. So it is named after the teeth and lip, labiodental. Fricative because though they come into contact against each other, but not full contact but partial. The lip, there is a passage left in between the upper teeth and the lower lip. As a result, air spontaneously or continuously the air is coming out, but since the passage is very narrow, there is friction sound. That's why they are called fricatives. So labiodental fricative fa and va, as in fan and van. These are two different sounds. And fa is voiceless and va is voiced. Then we have dental fricatives. Tha and the. These two sounds are dental fricative sounds. Dental because again the passive articulator is the teeth, upper teeth, and it is named after the teeth, dental. Fricative because the tip of the tongue, front of the tongue, tip of the tongue goes against the upper teeth, and the narrow passage is left for the air to come out with a friction sound, because very narrow passage, but the air comes continuously. That's why they are fricative. But interestingly, most of our pronunciation of tha and da are not fricative. We pronounce tha and da as plosive. We totally block and then suddenly release. But in RP English, actually it is not plosive, they are fricative. The passage is left and air comes continuously. Tha, the, thank you, than, there. So it's like that. But most of the times we Indian we do like thank you, but it is not thank you, or it is not then, it is thank you, than, fricative. Of course, tha is voiceless and the is voiced. Alveolar fricatives. These two sounds, sa and za, they are alveolar fricative. Alveolar because the tip of the tongue goes against the alveolar ridge or the teeth ridge, back of the upper teeth. Teeth ridge or alveolar. This position is called alveolar. So it is named after the alveolar. They are called alveolar sounds. And fricative because the passage is left, though narrow, tongue, front and tip of the tongue, and alveolar ridge. The passage is there, but it is very narrow. Hence, when the air comes out, there is friction sound. Hence, it is called fricative. So, alveolar fricative, sa and za. Sa is voiceless and za is voiced. Then we have palato-alveolar fricatives, two sounds, sha and ja. Very interesting. Most of we Indian speakers, we find it difficult to pronounce sha and ja properly, and we confuse with sa and za. We make these sounds similar, sa and sha, za and ja. We make often similar. The difference is of the place of pronunciation exactly. When we pronounce sa and za, the front of the tongue only goes towards the teeth ridge. But when we pronounce sha and ja, most part of the tongue, tip of the tongue to the entire front and middle position of the tongue, the entire tongue goes towards the hard palate, and the entire from teeth ridge to the entire hard palate, it goes towards that. But the passage is left. That's why it is fricative. Air comes out with friction sound because the passage is very narrow. So you can see here, in case of sha and ja, most part of the tongue is going against the hard palate. But in case of sa and za, only the tip and front part of the tongue, tip of the tongue, you can say, tip of the tongue goes against the teeth ridge. So there is a difference of the pronunciation. Sha is of course voiceless, ja is voiced. Then we have glottal fricative ha. It is glottal because it is pronounced in the glottis. Fricative because the passage is narrowed down. So air comes out with a friction sound, pushing the glottis. So it is a friction sound, and of course it is voiced. Then we have bilabial nasal sound. Bilabial nasal sound is ma. Bilabial because by the lips, the contact is in the lips, so it is bilabial. Nasal because we can see here, in case of this, the velum comes low, comes down, and air is left, nasal passage is opened up, and the air is going through the nasal passage. So this sound is nasal. But in case of the other oral sounds, you can see here, the velum is actually closing the nasal passage. So air only comes through the mouth. So these are oral sounds. But the nasal sounds, normally, the velum comes down and the nasal passage is opened up for the air to come through nasal passage. As a result, these sounds are called nasal. Bilabial because contact is made in the lips. So bilabial nasal is ma. Ma is all the nasal sounds are voiced. Then we have alveolar nasal. So here again, nasal, as I said, velum comes down, air goes through the nasal passage. Alveolar because the tip of the tongue and front of the tongue goes against the alveolar ridge. It blocks here, alveolar and tip of the tongue. So alveolar, nasal because air comes through nose. It is voiced again. Then we have velar nasal, nga. Velar because back of the tongue makes contact against the velum. This is the velum, soft palate or velum. So back of the tongue makes a contact here, and of course the velum comes down to open the nasal passage, hence it is nasal sound. So velar nasal is nga, and it is voiced. We have alveolar lateral law. Interesting, it is alveolar because tip of the tongue makes a contact against the alveolar ridge, so it is alveolar. Lateral because though the contact is here, continuous contact is here made, but the air comes through the lateral, sides of the tongue, blades of the tongue. Blades of the tongues are open for the air to come continuously. Blockage is made here, nasal passage is blocked, so it is an oral sound. So it is alveolar lateral law. It is voiced sound. Then we have post-alveolar frictionless continuant raw. Post-alveolar because the tongue is somewhat curled towards the back of the alveolar ridge. Here in this position, back of the alveolar. This is alveolar ridge. This is back of the alveolar. So the front and tip of the tongue is somehow it is curled towards that. But frictionless because sufficient passage is left in between these articulators for the air to come out without any friction. So air comes out continuously without friction. So it is frictionless continuously comes out, but no friction. Post alveolar because the contact, though not full contact, but the tip of the tongue goes towards the post alveolar position. Nasal passage is blocked, air comes through the mouth. That is oral sound, ra, voiced. Voicing is here. Then we have palatal semivowel ya. It is palatal semivowel. It is semivowel because for a vowel sound, we know that the air should come spontaneously. Continuity is there, number one, and number two, it must be able to be the nucleus of a syllable. But ya is unable to be the nucleus because of its quickness of the movement of the tongue. It is like a diphthong, it is also a vowel glide, you can say, but it glide from one position to another position, E position to A position. But the movement is so quick, so quick that it is considered as a consonant sound. But still it is called a semivowel because there is no such abstraction in the mouth. There is no such partial or full abstraction. And this movement of the tongue, glide of the tongue is made in the palatal, by the tongue towards the palatal, full palate, front of the hard palate and back of the hard palate, or back of the palate you can say. So towards that position it is palatal. It is of course voice sound. Then we have labiovelar semi-vowel wo. Very interesting. This is again like another semi-vowel. There is a vowel glide from one position to another position, oo, then oo. But when you pronounce, two lips almost come together, so it is kind of, according to many, it is kind of bilabial kind of sound. But here it is said labiovelar, because velum and lips both work together. In the beginning, both the lips coming together almost, then the back of the tongue goes towards the velar position. So labiovelar. Semi-vowel because of its quickness, quickness. Though there is no full obstruction to be a full-fledged consonant, so it is semi-vowel. It is again not a vowel because it cannot be the nucleus of a syllable. So this is all about the description of each of the consonant sounds. Hope it helps you. So if there is any clarification you require, so you can contact me through the available means. So thank you very much.